Hey you guys, I'm here on Artists Unplugged with guess what? Lonnie B, period, y'all already knew it. But me, myself, the icon Monique, just Monique, that bad bitch from Baltimore, the one who's been doing this for years, the one y'all want to see more of, period. Thank you for having me, Lonnie B.
Hey, what's up? It's your Judy on Duty, Lonnie B, and I am here with the mover and shaker in the ballroom scene, baby. I know you heard of a legend, but today I'm sitting next to an icon, okay? This is the Monique!
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super duper excited.
I'm excited that you are here too. My girl came up BWI from Baltimore to DC to sit with me, so I'm excited about it.
In the rain.
Yes! So, Monique, tell me, when did it start for you? When did you discover that you were Monique?
But the shade was, I was on the masculine side of the bush queen. I was, and the reason why was because I didn't like to get spooked when I was out. I wanted to be able to go where I was born in peace and not get beat, not get violence thrown.
Right.
So I wanted to just get through.
Right.
So when fast forward into 99, started on about 99, when I crossed over, when I switched over, it was like a shock. So I'm gonna tell you about it.
Okay.
Halloween 1999, I decided to dress like my mother for Halloween. I went in my closet, got my hair giddy up, and I put it on and I went out, and it was the most comfortable as I felt in my life. So from that time on, I didn't know how, but I just knew I had to do it.
Right.
And you know, back then we didn't have any resources or anything like that, but I just had to figure it out.
Right.
So then from that Halloween, that was like Halloween of 99, so 2000, I say early 2000s, I had it on and wasn't taking it off.
I know that's right.
Under no circumstances.
Yeah.
Mother, father, family, whoever. Yeah.
So how did they expect that?
Well, my mom, I'm an only child. My mom is like my best friend. Shout out to my mom.
Shout out to the mom.
Yeah, she's like my best friend. She kind of was, she was very uneducated, but whatever I wanted to do, she wanted to ride with me or whatever. I could have told her I was going to try to screw my head on and put it back on. She was going to ride with me. Even though she was uneducated, she still loved me. So whatever I was going to do, she was going to follow with me.
Right.
Now my father, on the other hand, I was his only, at the time, son.
Right.
So he was over it. But he eventually became, they had no choice but to get. See, I don't leave you choice.
Okay.
I'm one of the people where if you have to stand there, just look at my life from the outside and you'll see like she ain't praying.
Right.
And it ain't no kind of thing.
Well, what took your father the courage to actually accept it?
Well, to keep it real, to be 100% honest, I'm not going to come here to lie. He started working for the health department.
Okay.
And you know, when you work with the health department is centered around the girls.
Yes.
So being a big black man and needing help from needing to get numbers, he needed to use me to get the numbers. So he would tell people, hey, you know my daughter Monique? And the minute he say that, they'd be like, oh yeah, I know Monique, coming up here and get tested. So he really, he really baited me into the situation.
Yes.
So he really baited me into the situation. So I feel like with him learning his job, he also got to learn a little bit about me. Because otherwise he wasn't gonna, all he could see was the traditional, my son think he a woman type of thing.
Yes. So outside of your mom and dad, the extended family, how did they accept it? Or did it even matter to you?
It did not matter to me because I was going to do it. But I will say, just coming from a black urban Baltimore hood family, it was hard. It was hard. Cousins. I'm an only child, so I did not have immediate siblings in the home. But cousins. They going to family reunions and they're like, who's she?
Right.
They're like, she look kind of like somebody, but who is she?
Right.
So it's, even to this day, it's 25 years later, it's still awkward.
Right.
It's like, who daughter is that? She looks like somebody, so it's always that awkwardness, but the area that I come from, we built for it.
Did y'all catch that? Who is she? Okay, yes, who is she? Yes. So look, how is it being a trans woman on the streets of Baltimore? especially in the hood. And is it east or west?
Well, I'm from East.
Okay.
I'm from East, but okay, let me break that down.
Okay.
Okay, so see, it's really a lot for me to try to cram into this.
Okay.
Because I'm from a different generation than it is now.
Right.
So the generation that I come from,
It was rough, right?
yeah, it was like you had to look like what you was presenting yourself as.
Yeah.
Too. So it was all about blending.
Right.
And saying, looking the part.
Right.
So, and then being from a city like that, they was not having, we was not, no.
Mm-hmm.
Even to this day, when I go to other cities and I see how they can be trans women or femme queens, and they can be like flamboyant and stuff, we can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to a straight club in Baltimore, you better be in there acting like what you're supposed to be, or it's going to be a problem. So to answer your question, just trying to pass, make sure you pass.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it hard to keep up?
Yes. Well, nowadays it's a little easier since, to me, I don't think you can really tell the difference. I think we all I think the biological women has made it a lot easier since we all kind of given the same type of thing.
So since you want to touch on that, okay, do you think that biological women are trying to look more like trans women?
Now, let me. I didn't know we was gonna go here so fast.
Right.
Okay, so let me break this down respectfully.
Okay.
I feel like there are a lot of different trends that people follow behind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like 100% women have followed behind trans women's appearance. But a question that I have for you is, why they can't follow behind us? What's the big deal about that? Not to you, but just to everybody. It's like, like if somebody say, okay, well, we following behind a college girl, so we wearing pleated skirts.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Right.
Everything is cool. Oh, we wearing boosie face like little boosie. That's cool.
Right.
But nobody wants to admit that we were the first ones that looked like this back in the 90s.
Right.
No, Nicki Minaj wasn't the first one with her body done.
Mm-hmm.
Lil' Kim wasn't. All of the people who they naming, this was done long before they were thought about. A lot of us died getting it done.
Mm. And what do we call this look? Do we call it exotic, exaggerated? What do
We call it honestly, in the community, we call it like the trans aesthetic.
the trans
The
aesthetic?
trans aesthetic. The long nails, snatch waists, the body, the full lips, the long. I can remember being little and women would not wear leggings and short shirts.
Okay.
If you were wearing leggings, you had to wear a long shirt to cover it up.
Right.
So we were always outside, is what I call it. Long nails, long hair, and then what bothers me is that a lot of people don't know their history.
Okay.
They think it came from Atlanta. They think that this root look came from Atlanta strip club. No. It came from ballroom trans women, not hood trans women, because there are a lot of different trans women, not overseas trans women. Ballroom trans women were the first ones that played around with loose silicone injection. And then, see, it's so much I can actually go into about
Go
this.
into it, Monique, because I'm going to I like it.
So I can remember, like I said, I got 25 years in the game.
Okay.
And I can remember, like, back when I first started getting my body done back in 2010, like a lot of women, biological women, because I do like to break down biological or trans.
Right.
A lot of people have a problem with the names, but I just will call it how it is.
Right.
And another thing I'm going to tell you about me, I know I'm not a biological woman.
Okay.
The type of woman that my mother and my aunties are and me, we different type of women.
Right.
I'm still a woman, but not a biological woman.
You're
I'm
a
a trans woman.
Right.
And I'm 100% comfortable with that. I don't know why they not. They don't get period. All that. It's so much we can go into.
Right.
We're gonna take it one piece at a time.
Okay.
So I can recall back in 2010, to be exact, when I first started getting my body done. I had lipo, and I had got my body done by a lady named Kelly Harper. Rest in peace, Kelly Harper. She's the one who they mimicked when they, like T.S. Madison did. She went to a hotel and pumped the girl.
Yes.
That's what they
I'm going to ask you, did you do it that way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hotel.
Yeah. So I'm going to a hotel room, lay there, get it done. So I can recall, having the body and the stuff, and like out and passing women, biological women, they would be like, and I would be like, I got it done now. I would make up something, and the reason why was because what we were told we were told to never tell biological women how to get it done, because once they got their hands on it, we would be no more good to people once they got it. And I'll be damned. I'll be damned.
Yes, the day has come.
The day has come where there is no need for us like it used to be. And I'm telling you, I can't really keep it real. There is really, she like her name is Kelly Harper. People that see this, they are definitely like, she not lying. She would tell us, do not bring, she would call them cunts. I don't do that because I feel like that's disrespectful. Okay. But she used to be like, don't bring them cunts here. Let them figure it out. I'm here for the girls. So, but then of course, you know, doctors started seeing, like, how can I do this? And that's when they came up with the fed transfer. But mind you, I said 2010. So I already had 10 years in the game before other people even had started getting it, you know?
So when we get the pump, it's just a needle?
I know it's crazy, but those were the risks that we was taking. Loose silicone, literally. We didn't know what it was, honestly speaking. We just seen her coming in with a clear tube or something.
Right.
And we was in either her house or a hotel room or whatever, because it wound up being passed down to different people, like a few different people. And it would be a clear substance of stuff. I can't even honestly say what it was. And we would give them a certain amount of money. We would lay on that table and they would inject it into it.
Was it taking girls out?
Left and right. Left and right. So many girls have lost their life behind it because silicone is not supposed to be placed until you loose. It's supposed to be in a package, in a package form. But we was taking them risks. Like I've suffered complications. Thank God. You know, it was. I like to feel like of course I'm blessed, but I like to feel like I'm definitely one of the lucky ones because, you know, I don't have any bruising or anything that, you know, and like I said, I haven't had any surgeries in probably over like 10 years now. Like I've settled with it. I'm definitely gonna do a little bit of nip tucking since I'm getting up there. You know, because that's what you're supposed to do. When you get older, you're supposed to pull it out. So I am happy that they do have more scientific ways to, you know, to actually help us out. But
so help me with this term. When I hear the girls say, "Oh, she's oversurge,"
okay,
what do that mean, Monique?
Some people think I'm oversurge. So when they say oversurge, they feel like the lip, the full lips, the high cheekbone, because society always, you know, like the group of people, they always feel like they know a bitch life.
Yeah.
You know, they feel like, oh girl, she gonna get clocked. Tell them to go outside with me and let's see what happens.
Come on, my man.
Tell them to go outside with me and let's see what happens. Like, I ain't been here 25 years as a trans woman for nothing. Right. So obviously I know I do something, right?
That's
you
right.
know? And I'm not one of the girls that hide behind, no shade to whoever do what they do, because we've all been there, but I work in retail in a mall.
I know.
You come through the mall,
yeah.
I'm gonna be that store manager that you see standing there. Hey, how you doing?
Yes, how can I help?
How can I help you?
Yes. Yes. So, what is it about the girls? I'm not gonna say what is it, but can you explain to me why do they feel like that they're just women and they don't want to be labeled as trans women? Why do a lot of women do that? And do you think that's offensive to biological women?
I do. And again, I'm just here for my opinion. You know? So I know they're gonna be mad because they get mad anyway. But they're not gonna do nothing but be mad. But so it's like we all have a delusional side to us. We women. You know how you got a homegirl that she just won't leave that thing alone.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, we need to write it down. You know, so that same delusion we all have, you know? So that delusion that they have of like, no, I'm a woman, I'm a biological woman, to me, it's just a simple fucking delusion because you know you are not. You know, and I think it's disrespectful, very disrespectful. It's the fact that most biological women will not give us a piece of grace. So I think that's what keeps, because you know goddamn well you don't get no period, girl.
Right.
You know damn well how you was raised up. You was raised up a whole different way.
Right.
You know, so I just think it's the biological women versus trans women thing that keeps that whole beef going. Because I would be crazy to sit up here and be like, yeah, you know, I know exactly how it feels to get a period. I would be crazy to sit up here and say that, you know?
Yeah.
So I just think it's like a defense mechanism that they want to, use that for argumentative piece.
Right.
When they know that
That's not the
yeah,
case.
yeah.
Right.
And I do think it's disrespectful towards biological women, but at the same time, like they give us so much hell. Like just like I'm sure you got your followers are up there, so I'm sure they're gonna be like in the comments like he this and he that, and it's
And
like,
I'm gonna
girl.
block you. I'm gonna fucking block you.
It's
This
like-
is my homegirl. I'm gonna fucking block you. I'm just letting you know that now. Don't be disrespectful because everybody want that respect and respect.
Yes.
So let me ask you this, okay? So speaking of homegirl, do you think there's a war between trans women and butch queens?
Definitely.
What is that about, Monique?
Definitely. So this might be kind of biased, but most of us were butch queens at one point, right? So the fact that we kind of sort of like know that side and know this side, it's like that. I think that's what creates the war. Now, what I've personally noticed, me personally, I feel like ballroom butch queens, they know trans women better than just regular everyday butch queens because like majority of us, we raised the butch queens in the scene. We've raised them up, so they kind of know what it feels like to be around a trans woman. But a regular, a regular gay man butch queen is a ballroom term, so you can't really call everybody that.
Okay.
But, you can't call every gay male a butch queen.
Right.
But, so I'll just say gay male.
Right.
They are kind of sort of like, they be lost, some of the gay males. Like some of them act like, do I call you she or what? And you be looking like, should you call me she? What you mean?
Right.
So, but sometimes I also feel like it's just a lack of education from a person that has never been around. So me, I'm the type of person, when I come to someone, I'm going to educate them first. I'm not going to get offended. Like if they be like, what's his name or something, I'll be like, you don't see no he's over here.
That's right.
So let me break this down to you.
Right.
This is this.
Right.
But and I also think the whole problem with trans women, biological women, butch queens, the one common thing that keeps all of us at it, right?
What's that?
The one common thing that keeps all of us at it.
What?
Is the nigga. Yes.
Trade.
Yes. That's the one common thing.
Yeah.
That's why when we sitting out here going at it, the center of every beef is a piece of trade. Like did you hear the conversation that everybody's saying when they saying, is a guy gay that dates a trans woman?
Yeah, so what's your take on that?
When you show me a guy that's up here pleading some shit about me, I'll plead something about him. They got to answer for their own shit. I ain't doing it no more.
Right.
I used to be one of them, oh no, he ain't gay. I'm a woman. I ain't seen none of them stand up and say nothing about nothing. It's time for them to, I understand that. Okay, so I'm moving around a lot, but
you fine.
I'm moving around a lot, but I've been in a 6-year relationship with a piece of trade.
Okay.
6 years.
6?
6.
Still going strong?
Still going strong.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a little hiccup the last 2. He's not he's locked up right now, but something I was living the hood fish life. What I always saw growing up. Like growing up, I wanted to be like the girls that had a drug dealer boyfriend.
Yeah.
He come home, you go buy the bags,
Yeah.
he paying the rent, you live in a condo, you got a
Yeah.
coffee. I wanted that.
Baltimore,
Can you blame?
bitch.
Yeah. Can you
Yeah.
blame me for that? I
Right.
wanted that because that's what I saw growing up. And that's exactly what I got. I saw all of the stuff came with it. The drug abuse, the fighting, the
cheating.
the cheating, all of that stuff. So that's why you gotta be careful what you ask for.
Right.
Biological woman, trans woman, whatever y'all about to ask for.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, but back to what I was saying, the bottom line to everything is always a guy. Like it's always them doing something, So me and him, we went through, he would sometimes feel like, am I gay? Like, what's going on? Like, he would just go throughout the 4 years, he would go through different changes. Like, sometimes we would be okay. And sometimes...
Now, is it before sex or after sex when he questions, am I gay? Monique, because you know.
That's right. I love this real conversation. So honestly, it would just be random times. Like, and that was the part that used to work me because, it would just be random times that he would just be like, "No, I ain't no fuck. I'm not fucking gay. Like, what the fuck?" And I would be like, "Are we really about to do this right now? Are we doing this?"
Right.
So, and then it would be times that everything would be okay. Like like I met his family. He has 2 kids. So the baby mothers would have to come to me. Oh, y'all need something? Oh, y'all gotta go to her. So it was really my dream, you know? I was actually happy to be able to, you know, to actually live like that. And that's what I want, like, your viewers and people to know, that, like, just because you don't see it, don't mean it ain't happening.
Right.
T.S. Madison, Amaya Scott, Laverne, they not the only trans women out here.
That's right.
They not.
That's right.
It's the little one in the hood that you ain't probably never met before.
That's right.
That's really out here shaking and baking. You know what I mean?
Going through real shit.
Yes, going through real shit, kicking doors open. The reason I really honestly, I'm not I feel like I really honestly know us little local girls are the reason why these girls are able to flourish fly the way that they are. You know what I mean? Yeah, but.
And I was just telling Monique how impactful that the trans community is when it comes to the whole gay community. Because you guys are trendsetters in a way. Not just to women, not just to, you know what I'm saying, the ballroom scene, but just me being on outside of the ballroom scene, you guys are influential to me as well. You know, the way you speak. And I think it's your boldness.
Yes.
Your boldness of it all, like how you stand, you know, you just go through whatever you go through and you stand 10 toes down on it. And that's admired.
Yeah.
I really admire stuff like that.
Yeah, you ain't got no choice though.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, what else I'm gonna do? It ain't like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and people
because
don't
it's
know.
a lot that y'all go through.
Yeah, it's so hard.
Yes.
It's hard, but.
And you managed to still stand on your 10.
Yeah.
That is amazing,
yeah. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. You know, I have my times when I be like, whew.
Right.
You know, but I think that's when your support system comes into play.
Right.
Like my mom is my best friend. I got a handful of people that at times when I'm in the house acting like, you know, okay, this is it.
Right.
I'm done. They come and they pick me up.
Was there ever a moment in your life where you were just like, I don't want to do this no more? Just take the wig off? There wasn't?
No.
How do you feel about the boys that just dress up for play?
I feel like they were smart.
And what you mean when you say that?
Because they can just take it off. Because what a lot of people did, they do it for boys. So why alter yourself up like that for a nigga when he'll take you without the shit on these days, you know?
Right.
So that's why I said before I came here, I said I got a lot to say about both sides.
Right.
You know, I'm not just gonna come here and just act like trans women are God's gift to the world. Because them bitches got a lot with them too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So a lot of girls transition because if you ask them, and I want you to remember I told you this, right?
Okay.
If you talk to any other trans girls, and when you ask them something about them starting, they gonna say something about a boy. So it's gonna be a boy somewhere in there. A boy told them they look like a girl. It was easier to get some dick when they had a wig on.
Right.
It's gonna be something like that to what persuaded them to go ahead and be a girl.
Right.
You know, and then guys do this thing, right? What has got a lot of girls caught up? You'll meet a guy, he like, damn, yo, you look good. Like, if you did that all the time, I would, you know? So you be like, bitch, I know for a fact, if I go and I get a little bit of body like that one I seen at work at, what's the name? If I get some body like her, I know I would be in there. Boom, now you somewhere getting your body done. To find out that the better you get at it, the closer you get to one of them, the less they want you. Like, honestly speaking, I honestly feel like trans women, I feel like we kind of played out now, honestly, when it comes to when it comes to guys.
Right.
What the fuck you want with me? You like, bitch, you get ready, neg, complain, I'm gonna have to pay your rent, get your hair done, your nails, your wig. I can go over there with her if I want to go through that. I want to come somewhere. I want to be catered to. I want to be, you know, a lot of guys, they like the carpet roll, what I call the carpet rolled out for them.
Okay.
And they you know, they feel like, a lot of times, and this is not shade, please don't take this as shade. A lot of times, gay boys, they will roll a carpet out for a piece of dick to get that whole feeling from a nigga. Really? You know? Like, to get a piece of dick, they be ready to crash out by the nigga. You know? Like, to get that little feeling like a girl, you know, the trade come over. Oh, my trade coming over here, let me call you. To get that whole feeling. You know, so they be ready
exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what she's talking about.
They be ready to crash out about that.
They do.
It's like a lot of trans women, we be giving, give it here. Because what I'm going to do, you know, it's like you roll one bike, you done roll them all. A big dick, all that. I've seen plenty of them in my 25 years. I need to see something else at this point. What you got?
Yes.
You know?
Because this is maintenance.
Yeah. It's
You got to keep it up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So when you say that they do it for a piece of trade or a boy, do you think that person who's doing it for that boy loses their identity?
Yes. Yes. Very much so. And then I think that's when the drugs come in.
Oh,
I think that's when the depression comes in. I think that's when like a lot of times when we look around in the community, it's way too many people that are like, what's the medical term? Way too many people that are like losing their minds. Or like, you know, like how are all of these people passing away and like going crazy and stuff and ODing at 20, 19?
Yes.
Under 25, me being 46,
identity loss.
People look at me like, bitch, I ain't, you know, it ain't really that many, you know. I feel like now we are the first generation of older trans women. Right. Like growing up, you would hear like, oh yeah, it's this older one that live up there. Yeah. That, you know, that from back in the day. Now we finally getting to a place where it's kind of a bulk of us where we can be a generation, you know, like, so I feel like we are making some progress, but we still got a little ways to go.
Right. Okay. Now, as you know, the icon. Okay, that's not a title we just throw around.
Not at all.
Baby, that's a title that she earned from the ballroom community.
Yeah.
What was your category?
I walk Femme Queen Performance.
Okay.
That is my main category. Femme Queen Performance, Femme Queen Body, Femme Queen Big Girls Perfect 10s. Cool. That's like sex, body, realness, a whole package. Yes. And so when you're legendary, that's when you walk your categories and you win. Okay. So when you get to icon, it's when with the body of work that you've done. Okay. You know, I've been an overall mother of a house. Okay. Been in many houses. I've breeded icons at this point. Okay. You know, like I got kids that are icons. Okay. So I also came up with a trans group called Girls United. It was the first trans group. It was the first group to get Ballroom to start appreciating trans women. Okay. Because at one point we were coming involved in all of the Butch Queens, and they go by that title because they're in Ballroom. Right. They would be sitting down, and you see the trans women standing up in their Louboutins, like, and you like,
my feet hurt.
Yeah, like, So I had came up with alongside with help with other girls, came up with a whole little movement to get Ballroom to try to respect girls again. So
that's great.
I've put my skin in the game, but I will be honest and say now I am completely over it. Probably won't ever go to another one again.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, before we get to that, because that was a heavy hitter, bitch, okay? Before we get to that, I want to know, how did Ballroom contribute to who you are today?
I owe everything to it. I owe everything to it because, so people like to read, okay, so the community is broken down of different types of girls. Right. So, you know, there is a group of girls, and it's funny we talking about this because this girl, she made a post and she was like, you can tell who made their femininity off of being around their mothers and who got their femininity from being around femme queens. And I hear that a lot. Like, people like to act like Ballroom, it's something wrong with Ballroom girls. You know, like the way we carry ourselves, something is wrong with it because I guess they classic fish or something. Like, girl, what are you talking about? Right. Ballroom, me being from Baltimore, you gotta remember we got Atlanta down there with all of that style and fashion. Then you got the Carolinas, which is kind of like country. Virginia is still borderline. DC is DC. Baltimore is hood and ghetto. Then as you go up to Philly, you know, they fly. New York is where all the fashion is. So being in the middle of that, Ballroom taught me how to elevate. You know, it taught me how to elevate as far as competition and as far as as far as a look or something. Like, if I knew I was going to New York to battle somebody, I knew I had to put my shit on if I was going to New York. I'm from Baltimore, you know what I mean? Whereas though, if I never indulged in Ballroom, I probably would not have, it's people that don't know how to, that don't know nothing about the next block over. Right. You know? So I feel like Ballroom has taught me style, taught me grace. Yes. I feel like it's also, I've met some of the best people in my life at that time. Yes. You heard what I said at that time, right?
What you mean when you first came into
Yeah,
Ballroom?
at whatever time I met him, because now I ain't now.
Okay, yeah,
you know,
You do your own thing now.
Yeah,
Right.
at that time, I feel like I met some of the best people for that time, and I know I would not have met them without Ballroom. You know, I feel like I would not have met them without Ballroom.
Yes.
Ballroom is like a great way to connect, network.
Right.
You know, network.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That's good though. You know, she gave it that grace.
Yeah.
Okay, now when was the moment when you decided I gotta bow out of this? This is it for me. Did something happen, or was it?
It repeatedly happened. Like,
Okay.
I would go to balls and they wouldn't finish. I would go to balls and like they would be, the politics would be thick, like outrageously thick.
And what you mean when you say that?
Like, you know, like if you're competing, like for one, they make the prizes real big now. Like you can go, like I think as the ball coming up, something $50,000.
Wow.
$50K.
Yes. What's that category?
I think it's like house with the most points or something like that. So meaning like you bring your best people so you can win the most.
Most points,
And then it's
yeah.
So you gotta think that $50,000 is on at stake. Everybody doing everything under the table to cut,
Right.
So it's not really about real talent anymore. It's
Oh,
about
so when you say politics, it's like, if that's my Kiki
yeah, that's my girlfriend.
Yeah,
I'm gonna fraternize with this person this week so I can go. It's just gotten.
So that takes the fun out
Yes,
of
that
it.
takes the fun out of it because
Yes.
it's not about real talent anymore.
Right.
It's about who you know, who you sleeping with, who you know,
Okay.
who this kind of thing. So flying all the way to Atlanta for a shit show, I could stay home for that.
Yeah, or for
You
somebody
know?
to play in your
Yeah,
face.
somebody to play
Yeah.
in my face, I
Yeah.
could stay home for that.
Right.
So after like about 3 years of doing that, I said, nah.
Yeah, that was it for you.
That was it for me. I'd rather buy a wig or something.
Right. Yes. So you're not even in a house. You don't consider yourself a house mother. Do you talk to your house kids or people that you just went away?
Yeah, I did.
So this might be the first time most of you are seeing that. Yes. Oh my God.
I'm still on social media, but as far as like going into a ball, no.
Yes.
I'll rather waste my time doing something.
Would you ever reconsider on going back if things change?
I don't want to say no because then I have those days when I be like, this is my, this is where I come from.
Yes, yes.
This is where they know what I've been through.
Right.
Because working in retail and just being around heterosexual people,
Yes.
they don't know who I am. I'm just a
regular person.
regular old person to them.
Yeah.
So sometimes I do crave that ballroom familiarity. You know what I'm trying
Yeah, I
to say,
know what you're
right?
saying.
Sometimes I crave that because they do know my struggle. They know who I am. They
Yes.
they will love on me. Like how when I came here, like that feel good when people recognize, people know you for your body of work and recognize you for that. So.
Right. Wow. And you have contributed a lot. Do you feel like it was a waste? No, I'm just asking, Monique. I'm just asking.
I do and then I don't.
Okay.
The reason why I said I do is because it kind of sort of really didn't get me nowhere, really, in a sense. But then I say I don't because everything happened for a reason.
Yeah.
Like
Ballroom
majority of the
has
people-
elevated
Yes.
TV. And,
Yes,
Yes.
but a lot of that is what made it worse to me.
Oh.
Just like even like with the whole trans women thing, I think now that all of this talk about trans women and stuff is going on, that's what muddied the water. It was better when, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because that exposure now.
Better when it was underground.
And that's to me.
Right.
That's to me. I feel like that because now I feel like people knowing exactly what to look for and stuff like that. I feel like that people knowing exactly what to look for. Like, let me tell you, I was scrolling through TikTok.
Okay.
And this girl, she said, girl, I went through my husband Cash App and I seen this girl picture in there and like she had real sharp striking features. So I put her name on Instagram and it was a trans woman and he was sending her, like, I feel like all of that shit been going on.
But
shit
now
been
that
going on.
ballroom want to be on Hollywood and exposing it all.
Now that, you know.
Monique like, bitch, let's have our secret.
Yeah. Yes. God, we can't have nothing. Damn, you know, like, I'm for real. Like, I be, like, sometimes you'll get clocked not even for your own shit because just because people just be on it.
Right.
You know? Let me see. They like, oh, girl, that's one.
Right.
For real. Like, damn, you like, shit.
Right.
Damn, I didn't even step my foot all the way in the door. And they already like, yes.
So since you have exited out of ballroom, has it been more peaceful?
Yes, it has. It has. It has been like, especially from where I came from. I came from being an overall mother. So being an overall mother.
So you walked away from that position?
Yes, I walked away.
So
from
you
it.
walked out when you were overall.
Yes. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because let me tell you. So the reason why I walked out was because I was the first, you know, bigger, you know. Like, ballroom has a standard, just like anything else.
Right.
They have a standard. So all like, as long as I've been in ballroom, there have only been certain girls that were overall mothers. Like, they call them trophy mothers. Like, girls that just look good. You know, like they beautiful
With the latest fashions and everything.
Yeah, they beautiful, but they ain't no mother. They ain't gonna do nothing. They ain't gonna
look after the kids.
Yeah, they're not gonna look after the kids. They're not gonna build. They're not gonna mold. They're not gonna put structure into from a woman's. A home needs a mother in
That's
it,
right.
You know,
right.
So I kind of changed that.
I know that's
I changed that. You know, I came in as a plus size girl that was a mother figure that I was gonna get out there with my kids. I was gonna be giving what's going on. What happened? Oh, you know, I was gonna be judging the balls. You know, I was gonna put my work in. So
Monique, hold on. Where is the plus size? Cause this is giving body, baby.
well, I did come down a little bit.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say. So I think plus size. I think Lizzo. I don't see Lizzo here, baby. No.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I did come down. I did come down some. But yeah, like I was like, and then after I did that, there were a few more girls that weren't your typical trophy mothers that actually started getting those positions. So I thought, like, Monique, you did what you needed to do.
Yeah.
You kicked that door in.
Right.
And they are actually getting mothers that are getting out here in the field and getting dirty.
Was you asked to come back?
Yeah, I was. I lied a few times. I played around a few times and told them that I was going to come back, and then I've also developed a little bit of anxiety from it too, because like it's so different. Like, I go in there sometimes and I'm like, I don't know none of these people. I never seen them before and stuff like that. So, and then I also feel like the internet, they tear you up on the internet.
Yes, they do. We was talking about that earlier, Monique.
Baby.
They so rude.
Yeah, they are so.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's why I say I block you, bitch.
Yeah, they will get you right on together on that internet.
Yes, it's crazy.
They get on them keypads.
Yes.
And they
and be the biggest punks in the
yes,
street.
they do. Yes, they do. They have sent the girls to their grave from a keypad.
Yes, they have.
Probably in there laying on a mattress on the floor with cigarette buds around them and everything. But you sending a girl, you sending a fat bitch. You sending a fat bitch to her feet.
Yes.
You know?
That is so true.
I've watched that. Like, when I see people sitting there screaming at the TV and going off, and I be like, you don't know who that is on the other side of that. You know, they are they are trolling. And I'm one of them people that will sit there and scream at the TV.
Yes.
So that's why I have to just be, you know, just pull myself away.
So I got a couple of more questions I want to ask you. So one question I want to ask you is, why is prostitution and crafting so heavy affiliated with trans women?
Okay, this goes back to the beginning again.
Okay.
Back when I started and when the girls started from my era, you wasn't going up in no job with no Dante Brown on no ID. You wasn't going up, you know, so you had to, you know, so back then, a lot of places, you know, just would not hire you simply just because. It was kind of unheard of. You got to think like, they wasn't going for that. And you want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
I got fired from a job 2 months ago for the same very thing once they found out. So it ain't nothing changed. Ain't
it's
that's
still
discrimination. That's a lawsuit.
It is. But the way that they
They didn't.
Do we got enough time for me to break it in?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so I was working with a gay guy, and I thought he probably knew me. I mean, when I go to work, that's another thing. When I go to work, I turn off. I'm at work. I'm professional. I'm Monique Carter at work. Monique Ike, all of that stuff. That's not. We're not doing that here.
Right.
So I felt like he was around 28. So I felt like he may have heard of me or something, but we just never talked. So I'm gonna make a long story short. He didn't know. He didn't even know I was trans. He didn't know, and once a clip had went viral with me, he saw it. He started questioning, and he came into work and he showed it to me. When he showed it to me, I was like, "Yeah, that's me." He's like, oh, "Okay." So to make a long story short, he went back he did some investigation and found some stuff, and he went to the district manager of the store and told them, you know that she's, trans. So they called me, and when they called me, and the district manager called me, he's like, "Hey," he's like, "How you doing?" I was like, "Fine." He's like, there's rumors going around that you aren't a biological female, and it's just like a bunch of stuff going on in the store. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna talk to some people to find out what's going on. So I'm thinking it was still on my side at this time. I mean, the day and time that we in, I'm thinking they still on my side. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, cool. So that next week he comes in. I was off the day he came in. He talked to two people. They both called me and told me that they talked to him. And I was like, oh, well, one of y'all probably get ready to get fired because y'all must have been in there getting it going on my tea, and now y'all about to gag. So when I went to work, he came in and he was like, "Hey, how you doing, Monique? I'm gonna actually suspend you with pay per investigation." So my radar was going off. I'm calling people, asking like, "What you think gonna happen?" So everybody like, "Girl, they probably was getting it going on you. Probably gonna switch you to another store or something because they probably was threatening you or something." Never in a million years did I think that they was gonna call me and say what they said. This happened on a Wednesday. On Friday, they called me and he was like, "Hey, how you doing, Monique?" I was like, "I'm good." He's like, "I'm just calling to let you know you have been terminated per da-da-da." And I'm like, care to know why? And he was like, a few different reasons. He was like, one, we have the right to go back 20 years and see, when you allow us to search you, we are allowed to go back 20 years, which he lied, because he would have had to go back 25 years, because I had my stuff changed. I swindled my name change and stuff way before it was even legal. So that stuff, you can't dig and find that stuff out on me.
Right.
So he said that basically he was saying that they had the right to go, they have the right to pick and choose who they want to represent their company in management. Which they tried to act like it wasn't about the gender. He was trying to act like they can pick and choose who they want to represent the company and have keys to their store. Wow. And they didn't. But here's where they turned it. They said they had a link of me being linked to a sex work ad in 2009.
Okay.
So basically, the Butch Queen went and did some investigation, found it out, sent it to them. But they are them Arab Mexican men, and they was all over me. The whole time I was working there, when I went on the interview and everything, they was just all over me, kissing my hand and all that. So what I felt like is, once they heard like that's the man, they was like, "Oh, we got to get her out of here."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's what I personally felt like it was, because once they heard, they got me up and out of there. So that's still going on 25 years later. So you can imagine back in the day how the girls are just scamming. Any kind of scam. Crafting, prostitution, and prostitution for trans women, it's like,
are we calling it prostitution or sex work?
Oh, sex work. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay.
No, I'm like, sex work. I mean, honestly, I'm gonna keep it real, because like I said, I had driving down here, I was like, I'm just keeping real about everything, because the world needs to know. I'm gonna always need my money.
I know that's right. Monique.
I don't care if I'm a millionaire. If I'm entertaining you, I'm going to need my fee.
I understand.
You ain't got nothing for me. So I'm gonna need something.
Right.
I done seen every size penis in the world. I done had sex in every position there is.
Yeah.
Every kind of way.
Right.
So I don't know what you gonna give me that I ain't never had.
Right.
So, I'm gonna need
I
my
understand.
piece. Even to this current day. When I leave here at the gas station, if I need a nigga,
yeah, I'm gonna
let me get that.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna need it. So that's why I feel like it just goes hand in. What they have to offer us why would you do anything but get paid? They ain't going. I guarantee you, if we leave here right now and we went where found every trans woman we found, you ain't gonna find too many that got a boyfriend that they met their family or people know about who they dealing with.
Right.
You know? And the first thing they gonna say is, oh, I don't want nobody in my business. Girl, everybody wants to be loved by somebody.
Out loud.
You know, that defense mechanism is cute.
Right.
But coming from a bitch that, coming from a girl that lives that life.
Yeah.
Coming from a girl that lives that life, yes, you do want to meet the family.
Yes, you do.
What girl don't?
Right.
You know? So I'm just like, whatever.
So do you think every trans woman that meet a man should tell him right off the break she's trans?
No, I don't.
Okay, Monique, let's get into it.
I don't. I feel like it's a case-by-case situation.
Okay, and then break the cases down.
Okay. Sometimes it goes so quick. Okay, like let me give you a scenario. I leave here, we done, we had a great time.
Yes.
You like, bitch, I live for her.
Yes, and I do.
Yeah, I get to the gas station, I'm in there, the tray, he all over me. He all hugging me, like, yeah, what's up with you? I'm not gonna. I probably can't tell him because he done already done. Yeah. You know, he done already went a little too far. Because once you done touch me, I'm not gonna be like, oh, you know, I'm trans. Right. Even though I got that in here, but you know what I'm saying? Come on now. You know what I mean? But like to save myself a charge and all of that stuff, people need to know. And it's so much. People need to know. These niggas ain't stupid. Right. Why do y'all think that they so dumb? Like, why do
they know what's up?
They know.
Yeah.
They know. And I don't care how passable the girl is. It's always something different about a trans woman and a biological woman. And certain things, like I always tell Omar and my son James, and I always tell them, certain things I'd rather come from me than come from them or come from a gay man, because they're gonna shun y'all for telling it like it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? There is a difference in a trans woman and a biological woman. Most people fucking know it. Most people know it, even if it's something you could just sense.
Right.
Why y'all think these men don't? Why y'all think these men don't? Why y'all think these men so stupid when they get in jail and have the time of their life? They get in jail, and if they had Wi-Fi in there and air conditioning and you know, if it was more like a hotel style, they wouldn't want to go nowhere. They have the best time around each other. For real. But you don't have to you have to disclose your transness when you feel safe to. You don't owe nobody nothing. You don't owe them nothing.
Right.
You know, me personally, I wouldn't be. I mean, I would be lying if I say that, because I have made a mistake and went a little too far at times. You know, like in a messed up space, met somebody, things go fast. You know, we went to the casino after I was at work. I was working in the place, and I had met him at work. He waited for me to get off work. I was working near a casino. We went to the casino. After the casino, we went out. And in my mind, I'm like, bitch, everybody know who I am. So he probably, he know what it's giving. Right. So we went out. But then the things that he was doing, I was like, maybe he don't. Because, you know, the trade that no see, they giving. You know, let's sit that booth all. You know, and he was out, you know, so I'm like, whatever. So the night started getting young, and he was like, you know, can I come over? I ain't no stupid bitch though. Right. You wasn't coming over my house. Right. We can go somewhere, but I ain't going over your house. I ain't never been a dumb one. Right. You know,
because that's dangerous.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna just lay up with him or whatever. So I did lay up with him, but I got out of there. Said I had to go to work. So then I was like, I need to talk to him to find out, just to say it, just to see if he know.
Yes.
And baby, when I told him, he was like, I had to find a new job and everything. He was coming all up to the job and everything. He was like, you a what? He was like, oh no. He was like, my mother walked past there and saw me talking to you, and oh no, you should have said something, blah, 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 and da, da, da. And I'm like, well, I thought, she like, what the fuck you mean I'm supposed to know? What do you mean?
All right.
I was like, oh God.
But I'm glad you're here today.
Yeah,
I share your experience.
Yeah, so basically, like, when people be like, oh, you supposed to tell him, right, why? You know, somebody buy you a drink, like me and you out at the club, and a guy buy a drink, I don't have to tell him what's on my birth certificate because he buying me a drink.
Right.
Why?
Right.
Why he ain't telling me either?
How do you feel about those trans women that are very vocal about their male parts and like to say, suck my dick?
I hate it. I hate everything about it. That whole culture of my dick and I'm a top and I'm a fuck him is disgusting. It's disgusting because again, and what people are going to say is, oh, the cunt say it, biological women. We're not cunt. We're not biological women. Like I stated earlier, we're trans women. You cannot walk around talking about your male parts. You just cannot do it. Me, and this is just me, I don't work for any organizations. I'm not paid by any organization, so I'm gonna tell you how I feel about it. There are two genders. I've never ever in my 46 years heard of a third one, okay? You're a man or you're a woman. You gotta fit into one of those. Like a left and a right. Well, it's left, right, in the middle. But a left shoe and a right shoe. You put them together and that's how you walk. There's only two genders, male and female, so when they come out and they are saying that there's another one, you cannot go into spaces thinking that people know that thing. Like most of the time that I've ran across people that were non-binary, I don't have a problem with them and things like that, but don't expect people to understand that or don't expect people to catch on to it off the bat. Because if I see titties, ass, clear skin, lip gloss, big earrings, I'm gonna say shit. Because I'm gonna, So I noticed that a lot of people this whole new norm has taken over and people want you to accept it. If you see a cat barking, what are you gonna do? You're gonna be like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
So you in the women's bathroom and you sounding like Barry White. You don't think people are gonna be like, grab their kids?
Right.
Cause me as a trans person, if I'm in a bathroom and I hear like a heavy, something that sounds like a man, bitch, I'm gonna be looking around trying to figure out what's going on.
Right.
So stop trying to act like that's normal, because it's not.
Right.
And I do know there's a new normal, but
Yeah.
that ain't it. And they know it's not. They know it's not. So I feel like coming from a person like me is better than somebody else saying it, because the first thing they'll be trying to do is cancel you or something when they know for a fact.
Yeah. So with you is man, women, trans man. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Yes, because the actual definition of transgender is to transition from the sex that you were assigned at birth.
Okay.
It does not mean you transition into a transgender.
Okay.
You have to fall under one of the two. But a lot of people chose to straddle the fence because for different reasons. But I feel like at the end of the day, even what we consider clocky, you're still a woman.
Right.
That women look all different kind of ways. Women so I feel like a lot of people because they feel like they aren't passable, a lot of them will be like, oh, well, I'm trans and I don't, and they want that to be, and I know that sounds like a contradiction from all of that I've been saying here, but at the end of the day, when the cameras are off and I'm living my life, I'm a woman.
Right.
Simple as that. I'm not a trans woman. But in technical points, when I go to the doctors, when I do this, when I'm doing certain things, I do have to point that out because I'm not a biological woman. Right.
Yeah. So do you feel like you're fully trans if you get your penis tucked?
I don't think that matters.
Okay.
That's another big argument.
Yes.
Do y'all know what's under here?
Right. Right.
What difference will it make?
All you need to know is I'm trans.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. That's all. And some of the trans women in the community that have the SRS, they feel like some of the trans women in the community that have the SRS, they feel like the girls that don't have it aren't really trans. So it's just a lot of cat fighting. But what did I say was the center of it?
The boys.
Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna say this, and then I know we gotta wrap this up, right? Mm-hmm. And I want you to, even people in here that, I want everybody to think about something, right? Mm-hmm. If you go get a Benz, right? Mm-hmm. Are you gonna get the fully loaded one or the one that has something taken away from it?
Fully loaded.
Exactly. So if a guy has opened his mind, and this is what I'm gonna get the most backlash about. If you have opened up a heterosexual male to be with you and to love you and to take you to his family, think of accepting you, he's gonna wanna go for the full gusto, okay? He's gonna want that bitch that has everything for him to enjoy. These are men. You know, we gotta keep in mind, these are men that we talking about. If they go get a car, they gonna want the one that's fully loaded, not the one that took away something that they already getting the slack about. Remember that.
So he will want the dick.
Yes. Even if it's not for, and I don't want to put that out there, but even if it's not for them to do something with, a lot of it has to do with character. A lot of people feel like, why are you taking, like, you know?
It's the fantasy.
Yeah, and why would you do that to you, you know? Why would you do that to yourself, you know?
Yeah.
So for them, they feel like they get that too. A lot of people get those and feel like things are going to be better for them once they get it. Then you're going to be that same bitch just with a pussy. People should already think you got one anyway.
Right.
You know? That's not going to make no man want you more or make no man clutch onto you more. No. Right. If a man has a heterosexual man, he's battling with, okay, I want to be with this trans woman. You know, I want to love her. He's going through all the things that he has to go through. He's a man. Men are greedy. Bitch, he's going to want somebody that's going to give him the time of his life. He ain't going to go through no smoke for somebody that ain't got one when there's 10 other ones that do got one. He curious. You know? You know, they want them all. You know? So.
Keep talking.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm glad that I was actually, you know, able to want to come up here and say this stuff because I don't really care what like I said, they ain't going to whoop me.
I know that's
so.
Right.
You know, that's the hard, honest truth. You know, like because you got a sex change, don't mean no different.
Yeah.
They still gonna call you sir,
right,
if they feel like it.
Yeah. That's bitch. You see, I had to gather myself. I tried to get myself together. I almost fall off this fucking chair. But no, so just a couple of yes or no questions. And okay. I know, he's supposed to go, cameraman. But it's so good.
Okay, so I'll just give you yes or no.
Okay, just a couple of yes or no questions, okay?
Okay.
Is it fair for a trans woman to fight a biological woman?
No.
Is it fair for a trans woman and a butch queen to fight? No.
Okay, is it fair for a trans woman a trans woman and a lesbian to fight?
I want to say no, but
And when I say fight, we're talking physical
fist fight.
Yeah.
I guess I would kind of sort of have to. I guess I would have to say no, but I don't know. You jam me up with these. I like that though. I like that because a lot of it is contradicting.
Right.
You know, a lot of it is contradicting, but I know circumstances.
Right.
You know, like a lot of trans women can fight.
Yes.
But you know, I always tell my sons and stuff like, don't fight a girl.
Right.
So I can't say like,
right,
go ahead and. Yeah, but a lot we can fight. Like the life that we come from, like coming from the stroll and things like that, from tricking. We ain't even touch on that, but coming from that, like that whole part,
you had to fight.
Like what? Like coming up here to DC to K Street and all of that stuff.
You better talk about
from Baltimore.
Yes,
like we was coming up here from Baltimore, up in DC, coming to DC. So
you gotta talk what you know.
Yeah, so you gotta. We had to. Yeah, you can't be no punk out there, you know?
Okay. So two more, okay?
Okay.
Can a trans woman and a gay man have a relationship?
Yes, I had a 2-year one before.
Okay. Can two trans women have a relationship?
Absolutely.
Sexually?
All of them, two titties at the top, you know? Yeah. They got a lot. They can definitely get it cracking. They got a lot going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it common for trans women and trans men to have relationships?
Yes, it is. It is. That's usually the go-to for trans women. It's never been my thing.
Right.
Like, I've never done it, but yeah.
Okay. What's your take on a trans woman and a trans man having a child?
I think it's a beautiful thing with the right people.
Okay.
You know, because ain't no other way you're gonna be to do it. You
right.
know? Ain't no other way it can happen. So I think it's a beautiful thing when it's done with, you know, just like any other, you know, piece of trade,
right.
You know, female. Like, if y'all got y'all shit straight, y'all have a baby.
That's right. Okay, so we're going to end it here, okay? Do you think that
before transitioning, for any transgender woman, that they need to first seek therapy?
Yes, 100%. Being as though it wasn't there for majority of us black girls. And you notice the conversation around black ones are completely different than every other race.
That's true.
We ain't mentioned a different race yet since we've been, how long we been talking?
For a long time.
And we ain't mentioned all.
I've been in class,
yeah,
bitch.
and all of this is like really, really, if you know, and I want to tell your viewers, if you know a black trans woman, please love on her. Whether if she is delusional to you, whether if she boy crazy, whatever she may have going on, just love on her, treat her. I mean, don't give her special privileges, but give her a pass for certain things because we go through a lot. We are so different from the white ones, the Asian ones, the Latin ones. They can be out, you can see them walking down the street right now with their husband and people won't even look twice. They can look clocky as hell, hard in the face, strong. They ain't nobody gonna say nothing. Yeah, and ain't nobody gonna say nothing. But let me and my peace walk, let me and my hood nigga be riding down the street and somebody be like, oh, there go Monique. It's a whole scandal. Now I'm in the blogs, they talking about it. So yeah, so to answer your question, definitely make sure y'all seek therapy, cause a lot of us couldn't. Yeah.
Man, thank you so much, Monique,
Thank
for
you
coming,
for having
baby.
me.
I was in
Thank you for
class.
having me.
This
Thank you
was
for
so
having me.
informative. Thank you for
I had a
being
good
brave, and thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yeah, thank you for
Ladies
letting
and gentlemen, the icon, Monique, baby. Yes.